And this is from the debate yesterday. So it looks like a Charlie Kirk supporter gets into it with Destiny. Let's react to this, and we're going to cover 9/11 after.
You know it.
Go ahead, preach. We're in church
you
right
know
now.
It.
Go ahead.
They said that the guy that shot Charlie was a Republican.
Can you answer me
he
this?
Wasn't.
If trans people are such effective assassins, why do we kick them all out of the military?
Looking at this one right here, I want to get this thing a gun.
Dude, get the out of here. Get this loser out of here. Are you serious? Why are you pointing out people in the audience and bullying people? Are you serious?
At the aftermath of this event, Charlie Kirk has almost become a martyr for the right. You think that the killing of conservatives and the fear of conservatives to be killed is going to turn down the temperature of their leaders, but I was just at the vigil, and I'll tell you what, the temperature has only risen. So why do you think that the temperature is going to go down for leaders like Donald Trump that, I saw you at the plaza speaking about earlier, clearly not turning down their rhetoric at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the rhetoric is going to turn down because I don't think Donald Trump has any desire to turn it down. I think the left has been disavowing violence and calling for a decrease in the rhetoric for like the past decade, and for some reason Republicans seem completely and utterly unwilling to do it. For everybody that's saying bullshit right now, I welcome you to go look at Joe Biden's Twitter to see what Kamala Harris has said, to see what Barack Obama.
He is correct. Yes, all the top Democrats have absolutely disavowed violence. That's fine. But the problem is that these are obviously the highest level of politicians in the Democratic Party. But leftists in general, okay, are able to conduct these acts of violence. And I'll explain what I mean by this, right? So I've told you guys this before, and I'll say it again. These leftist groups, right? Because I've been talking about Antifa and BLM being terrorist organizations for years, like 5 years plus. Okay, if you guys been watching me, or if you guys following me on X or any of this other stuff, you guys already know that I've always said Antifa and BLM are radical left organizations that literally personify what terrorism is, right? After Charlie Kirk was tragically assassinated, Donald Trump said, you know what, we're going to put these guys on a list. But for years, Antifa was able to openly have meetings, Facebook groups, demonstrate, meet up, etc. And I've told you guys this too. The reason why leftist groups are able to conduct the violence that they do is because they're able to organize. And the reason why they're able to organize is because they don't get the attention of law enforcement like conservative groups do. Does that make sense? So a group like Patriot Front, for example, right? Thomas Russo, the founder of it, gets banned, taken off everything. Federal law enforcement agencies are trying to penetrate that organization, right? Calling them like an alt-right or far-right white supremacy group. They're constantly under the eyes of law enforcement agencies. Meanwhile, organizations like the BLM and Antifa don't get the same level of scrutiny from law enforcement. Okay? And this is what I mean when I say right-wing groups deal with consequences for their actions versus left-wing groups don't. It took the murder of Charlie Kirk for the U.S. government to take these leftist groups seriously. January 6th happens. Everyone gets arrested. FBI opens up one of the biggest cases ever and arrests almost every single person, whether they went to the building or not. Everyone was charged, right? Go to the BLM riots all across the United States. Did everyone there get arrested and charged? No. It was so reckless that you look at someone like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? He's there to try to help people out, and he gets attacked by wild leftists, and that's to shoot like two of them as they're coming at him with a skateboard and shit, right? So violence on the left isn't necessarily conducted by the highest members of the Democratic Party, right? Because what Destiny's saying here is like, hey, look, after Charlie was shot, every single leading Democrat came out and said that political violence is unacceptable. Fine, I understand that. However, it's not the high-level Democrats or Democrat politicians that are the biggest issues. It's the constituents. It's the left in general, because they're allowed to organize, have these groups, not deal with consequences for having said groups, and then they're able to act absolutely nuts in a lot of these cities. Okay? They have far more ability to mobilize and conduct criminal activity without the same level of scrutiny by law enforcement as right-wing groups. Right-wing groups are constantly being targeted by federal law enforcement agencies or local law enforcement agencies and being trying to be penetrated by informants and everything else like that than left-wing groups. Now, hopefully, we'll see the tide turn where this administration is going to go a little bit harder on these leftist groups, and they're going to be able to, force some of these activities or stop them before doing their violent acts. But Antifa is absolutely violent. They are, 100%. As many of these left-wing groups are. And the reason why they're violent is because they have not dealt with the same level of consequence as right-wing groups. January 6th versus BLM is a perfect example. Because when BLM was rioting and destroying all these cities after the George Floyd death, it was them and Antifa and all these other radical left-wing groups that were hitting the streets saying, fuck fascism, fuck the police, Black Lives Matter. They work together. So when people say, conservatives are more violent, that's not true at all. Because conservatives go to jail when they do anything violent. Leftists don't.
Has said, and then you can go ahead and post me what Donald Trump has said in response to everything, which is just a call for more violence, basically, on the right.
So I understand what you were saying earlier. You were saying that the left doesn't have a need to disavow, like that should be on the conservatives. But I feel like
I think everybody should disavow, to be clear.
Everybody should disavow. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm speaking with you.
That's great, but what about the president?
But what I'm getting at, it's not about the president. It's not about the leadership. It's about you promoting this violence, saying that conservatives need to be afraid of dying at events. That is what I take issue with.
It has nothing to do with conservatives. Go ahead. Violent conflict for political beliefs in the United States is not good for anybody. I feel like that here exists on the left. Nobody wants to see the violence. For some reason, it feels like the right feels like they're invincible and that they can go out and say the craziest things and invite like all of the conflict that Donald Trump is still pushing.
I mean, is it really the crazy things, bro? A lot of it is just rooted in traditional religious stuff. Men and women are different. There's two genders. Women shouldn't be 304s. Men should be providers. Like, it's not anything that we haven't heard in society for a long time.
You can say it. I mean, just look at what Donald Trump says. I invite somebody up here to tell me how Donald Trump has disavowed violence without blaming Biden or the left. When you come up here, no one's going to have anything to say because he hasn't done it. It's absolutely insane to me. So I don't know if the feeling is just that the right is inviting conflict. They don't think it's a big deal. I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell.
Oh, go ahead. Pastor Biden. Yep.
I mean, I think the temperature that I'm gathering, and while, as a conservative, I don't follow the demagogues on the right.
You don't follow the leader of your party, the political party?
They're not my party. I'm a conservative, but I'm also registered as an independent. And the thing that I kind of want to, the thing that I want to ask you is, you need to make a statement very firmly condemning violence. And when you say things and you go on Piers Morgan and you continually say that the right needs to disavow, so do you. All of us need to. That's the point of this tour.
We've been disavowing for 10 years. The right refuses to do it.
It's not about, my question is not about left versus right. My question is about your recent remarks. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, if you don't even care what the president has to say on violence, why do you care what I have to say? I'm not even part of your political movement.
I do not care.
There's an unserious conflict.
I also
if you don't care. Why do you care what I say?
I also care what the president says. My point is that
you guys should ask him to turn it down.
I also think, Destiny, that you have a role in doing this because you represent.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
You don't think so when you have such a big platform. You're the biggest voice here.
In the United States, not as big as J.D. Vance, not as big as Nancy Mace, not as big as all these lawmakers, cabinet members, presidents, vice presidents, podcasters, alternative media guys on the right, everybody from the Daily Wire, Steve Bannon and his show, all of these guys.
Yeah, but none of us advocate for violence, man. That's the difference.
Guys are saying the left is the enemy, the radical left Democrats are the one that caused this. They had a whole conspiracy led out about who the shooter was before they even knew who anything about him at all.
Destiny.
So I'm sorry, like the idea that you're up here saying like, well, your rhetoric is responsible is a joke.
I don't believe that your rhetoric is responsible at all. I'm saying that the promotion of this continual rhetoric will only feed into the right. This is only feeding into the people that you are saying need to disavow violence. Let's get.
I want everybody in this country to disavow violence. How does that feed into the right?
I was at the rally.
No. Can you explain? When I say I want everybody in this country to be able to disavow violence, how does that feed into the right?
When you say that conservatives need to be afraid of dying at events to turn down the temperature.
I said that everybody should have a healthy fear of political violence. We shouldn't want it to happen.
So then say everybody. You should have said that.
We've said this for over a decade, but you guys don't hear it.
Then
you're not connected to reality.
I'm not connected to reality.
You're not connected to reality.
Master Butt?
How many BLM rioters did Joe Biden pardon? Exactly. How many J6ers did Donald Trump pardon? What kind of a message is it sending to your base?
Yeah, that's because the BLM riders didn't go to jail. They were not aggressively targeted by the FBI. It took someone like Sir Major, who was openly stealing money from the campaign, right, from the BLM campaign, doing overt fraud, okay, because he was buying hookers. Kid you not, guys, Sir Major, yep, one of these FBA motherfuckers. That's why I say FBA stands for frequently buying ass. Dude took donations from BLM and bought hookers, guns, and houses with it and went to jail. FBI took him out. So yes, there's no need to pardon people, BLMers, because they didn't go to prison. They had to do overt criminal activity to go to jail.
To say that you can commit violence on my behalf to install me as a leader, and if you get caught, I'll pardon you.
There's a lot of implicit assumptions that you're making. You're assuming that I support January 6th. You're assuming that I support.
Do.
Yeah, but you're generalizing me as a part of the Republican right.
because
When
we're
I'm
talking
standing
about the
here,
political parties right
I'm
now. This isn't
standing.
just you and
I'm
me.
standing here with a club, and we are trying to promote dialogue here. That's all I'm concerned about, and all I'm asking you is that as a conservative, where I have faced this fear for years, where I've also dealt with threats of violence. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, because I also don't stand with the demagogues that are calling for violence against the left as well.
That's fine, but so if you say that violence is the thing that worries you, if I were to go through your Twitter account, is there a single tweet of yours criticizing the president for his rhetoric?
I don't use Twitter. I don't engage in online rhetoric because I think that it's pointless.
This is an unserious question.
This is not an unserious question whatsoever. I don't need to use Twitter to be engaged with politics when I'm part of large political organizations on campus. I'm engaging with my enemies in person, not on the screen. That's what matters. Thank you for being here. Good luck.
Yeah.
So what is your name exactly? Who are you?
Stephen Bonnell.
Okay, so I understand you're trying to get your 50 minutes of fame, but it's fucking disrespectful.
It's 15 years, but go ahead.
Okay. Before I ask you fucking questions, I want to...
See, this was complete. Oh shit, this was completely unnecessary. Being rude like that, like, dude, you're at their event to go up and be like, "Oh, what's your name?" or whatever. Like, that's just like very, because some people tried that to me when I was there, like just coming off confrontational like this. Like that doesn't. What does that do, bro? That doesn't do anything. It just makes you look like an emotional stupid, right? When they come up and be like that, like, dude, this is his event, clearly. So it's like, oh, well, you what's your name again? Like, come on, dude, seriously.
I understand what kind of person you are. How many genders are there?
However many you want there to be.
How many? Oh, how many are there?
Well, I thought it was male and female, but apparently after today it's male, female, and snowflake. So I guess I'd go with 3.
I bet you have really high estrogen levels, don't you?
I don't know why. You want to fuck me? Do you have a question, or Jesus Christ? You guys think about trans people more than the people that... Jesus.
I'm ready.
You got a question? For real? I'm going to take it if you don't.
Do Black Lives Matter?
Sure, why?
Okay. Thank you.
Whoa, she's trying to silence me!
Come on. We're done.
That's what y'all do, y'all silence people because y'all can't fucking handle the truth?
Who's silencing? Jimmy Kimmel just got kicked off ABC because... I'll cheer for it.
One more question.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say.
Charlie Kirk's life fucking
mattered! Charlie Kirk's fucking life mattered!
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, like, dude, and this is why we have to be super, we have to be very careful, right? One of the things I get often when I debate people like Destiny or people on the left in general, right, is you guys often tell me, Myron, you're too nice. Why are you being so polite to this individual? Why are you doing X, Y, Z, right? And the reason why I do that is because keep in mind when you debate these individuals, right, it's not just your audience of people watching you that know you, right? Their audience is watching, right? And when you go in there and you act like an idiot, all you do is confirm stereotypes, right? Because let's be very blunt here. Let's just deal with the reality. Most conservatives are stupid, okay? They're just not intelligent people generally, right? They might not be as educated. They might not necessarily have the best grasp on the English language. They might not necessarily understand complex arguments or, So when you're there and you're debating an individual from the other side, the reason why debate viewership is so high is because for once you have two people who have two completely different opposing views debating, and guess what? Their audiences come to watch, okay? And when their audiences both come in to watch, you are in front of 50% of an audience that doesn't know who you are a lot of times, or might have heard bad stereotypes about you, or might not necessarily know what your positions are on some of these topics, right? And they're coming in with the mindset of conservatives are stupid, conservatives are bigots, conservatives aren't able to understand, complex, logically sound concepts, right? They're not, etc. So the last thing you want to do is go on there when you have the ability to talk to these people and talk to their audience too, because that is also who you're talking to. Last thing you want to do is confirm the fucking stereotypes, okay? So what does this guy go do? Comes in, what's your name again? Bro, it's his event. Are you stupid? Oh, well, how many genders are there? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, why not take his position on one of the things you disagree with? Hey, Destiny, your position is XYZ on this. This is why I disagree with it. And then logically and calmly and politely articulate why you disagree and provide the basis as to why you disagree with facts. Support your position with facts. That is how you do it. That is how you do it, right? But when idiots go like this with a freedom shirt and are just yelling a bunch of stupid things, no one's going to take you seriously and no one's going to respect you. And then you make all of us look bad because you confirm the stereotypes. Right? What do we make fun of leftists for, or liberals? We make fun of them for being soft, for not being able to handle the truth, for getting triggered, right? And when they show up to the mic and they get triggered off of things that you say, we laugh at it, right? Right? It becomes a clip. Same exact thing on their end. Same exact thing on their end. We think they're sensitive, they think we're stupid. So your job is to come in and prove that you're not stupid. This is why people like Charlie Kirk, I have a lot of respect for conservatives that are willing to go out there and actually talk to these people, face to face. Because let's be honest, most people don't like to debate. Most podcasters, most of these influencers don't like to debate because now you have to be able to stand behind what you say. And not only do you have to stand behind what you say, you have to be willing to stand behind what you say and defend what you say with facts. When I debate people like Destiny, this is why when I debate people on the left in general or people with a different position than I do, right, with a different audience, I be as polite as possible. I try to articulate my points as clearly as possible while still being concise so that these people who might have had a preconceived notion of me can walk away and be like, wow, I didn't know that he was so articulate. Oh, wow, he's smarter than I thought. Oh, wow, he's able to actually look at things from another perspective. That's the goal. You don't have to necessarily change everyone's mind, but you need to open them up to your position so they can see, okay, I can see why you think that way. I might not agree, but I can see why you have that position. And that's a W, guys. That's a W. Because we do have a very bad reputation on this side of people thinking we're stupid. And it's because of people like that this stereotype holds.